So I want to start off by saying, can having kids ever strengthen your relationship? And that's the issue that James and Tata are going through. Um, she feels that having a child could strengthen their relationship, but if you're going through a lot of things at the time, I think he makes a point that it's not always the best thing to add a child to a relationship that's struggling. I think you guys can figure it out or need to figure it out before you try to add kids into the element. And she says, in her country, that's what people do. They have kids to help strengthen their relationships. And it does strengthen the bond, and it will give you a lifetime bond for sure. But if you're still going through challenges that you haven't worked out, it's just going to be another thing on top of what you're going through. So James kind of makes a point on that. And do you guys think that having kids in the middle of challenging relationship, will that strengthen it? For some people they believe so. For some people they say it could make things worse. For some people they say work out your issues, then have the kid or kids. So we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk more about the couples of 90 Day Fiance right here, so stay tuned. Faith, Love, and Trends. Hey fam, it's another 90 Day Fiance recap chat. This time it's 90 Day Fiance the other way. And for those of you that don't know, 90 Day Fiance is a reality show that follows couples. One person is from the US, the other person is from another country. They have to go through, of course, our regular relationship issues that everyone goes through, on top of cultural barriers, language boundaries, the process of trying to get married in another country, get your visa, all of those legal ramifications. It is 90 Day Fiance. This time the spinoff the other way. Now let's get into these couples. Statler. We know about Statler and Dempsey. They're on their van trip around Europe, and Dempsey, when it comes to Statler anyway, Statler has trust issues and is not really sure if Dempsey's in it to be with her or to be just to have this van trip and have this van life, because most of the money's being fronted by her. So she has trust issues, bad past relationship issues where she was used and played, and she's wondering if Dempsey is going to be that same way. So she kind of puts her thoughts out there consistently, constantly, so Dempsey never gets to take a breath. And she admits she's brutally honest. She does deal with, I think she does have autism, anxiety, and some other things that she deals with. So she's just brutally honest as to how she feels. She's not always happy-go-lucky. Dempsey's a little bit more happy-go-lucky type of person. Maybe that they're two opposite. But, as Statler says, puts all this out there as far as they're not sure if they can trust her. Then she starts to cry. So then she's like, sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. But basically I have these trust issues in my past and whatnot. So Dempsey says, well, I got a surprise for you. And knowing how much she likes honeybees, she takes her to a honeybee farm where they have to get dressed in those suits and it's a little bit weird, but Statler's really into this and really happy that Dempsey gets her and understands her, because she is kind of hard to get in a way. She's kind of and she has a lot of issues and drama and all the things she's feeling, and someone coming from that background may be kind of hard to understand, may not get along with everyone. So it may be difficult for you to have a relationship when you have all these different things going on. It can be done. Not sure if Dempsey is the one that has that temperament or has that ability to deal through all these different challenges. But the honeybee gift makes Statler happy again, and they're back on cloud nine on their van life, so to speak. But then they have to get on the ferry. They have to drive, I guess they drive their van onto the ferry, and then it's like a big boat that takes them across the pond or whatnot. So Statler's really freaked out and has anxiety about this. Dempsey's excited. Statler's really kind of having anxiety attack. Dempsey doesn't fully get it. She's upset. She's like, well, why are you acting like this? You don't have to be rude. And Statler's like, could you just leave me alone? I'm just stay away from you right now because I'm in the middle of this. And she's like, well, you don't have to be rude to me. So they get in an argument while she's having an anxiety attack. And to me, I felt like maybe Dempsey should have just gave her some space. I'm not fully aware of all the things that she goes through, but I do have people in my life that have different issues, and I myself am an introvert, so I can understand needing some space sometimes. And Dempsey just was not getting the picture, just giving her space to go through her attack alone. And she started a fight with her in the middle of her attack when she could have just left her be. And she was just upset that she wasn't happy at the same time that she was happy. So it's kind of crazy. They're definitely opposites. Don't know how far this is going to go. There's always going to be some type of issues with Statler. But can they deal and can they work with it and can they have a foundation? Unsure. Now let's go to Sarper and Shekinah. After their big argument, they meet back up, and Sarper's saying, I feel so bad, blah blah blah, and he's whining, and she's like, yeah, you're whining, talking about you feel bad, what about me? You should think about me. I haven't told you this, but I've been through a relationship where I had domestic violence issues. DV was placed upon me. He would push me, restrain me, and all these things. And so when you grab my phone, you pull out my hair extension, it really, took me back to that. And I basically can't do that anymore. It's the first time I really saw Shekinah stand up to him. Besides when she actually left for the hotel because she couldn't handle being there with him. She stands up to him again. She says he needs to work on who he is. He needs to get therapy for his anger issues because she still loves him. And I had a feeling that they were going to get back together. She was really making it feel like it was over. He's sitting there whiny and all that. And she said, well, you really have to man up and treat me with respect. We can't be in this toxic relationship anymore. You have to get therapy. So he agrees to do all of this. So we'll see how it goes, but they are back together again. And most of us predicted that they would be, but I'm glad she's more standing up for herself. And I hope she keeps that vibe throughout the relationship if the relationship continues further. Tata and James, they're in Indonesia. They kind of had to restart their life there because of Tata's health issues. And she gets to be back close with her family. So it starts off where he wasn't feeling very well. It looks like she was giving him a massage. And they were trying to make it look kind of romantic. But in fact, it was painful. She gives him a coin massage where she's scratching this coin all over his back. And you could see the remnants of the coin on his back. He was screaming, saying it was a torture device. And he was like, I thought you were going to give me a nice tender massage. And she said, it was tender, very tender. So I thought it was kind of funny when she said that. But he said that it worked. He started to feel better. While he's trying to feel better, Tata goes to meet with her sister and tells her about the issue of James not wanting a kid. And he told her friend that before he even told her. So the friend told her this is what he said. So she hasn't had a chance to discuss it with them. So her sister says, try to be calm. You know how you can be kind of get into tantrum, get angry. Speak to him calmly so you can really, have a good conversation and resolve this. So Tata really wants kids, and they're out on the beach. He's got his metal detector, and she's like, I want to talk to you about something. And she brings up the whole issue about the friend telling her about the kid, him not wanting kids, and it hurt her more too that she had to hear it from someone else, and he didn't directly tell her. So, they talk about that issue, and he basically says, and she said, you kind of misled me because when we first got together, we were talking about how great it would be to have kids and we were on the same page, but now you kind of flipped the switch on me when it comes to this. And I really want to have kids. I want to be a mom. He's like, I know it's important to you, but I'm unsure, the way the world is, the wars and all this. which the world has always been this way, but it does seem kind of toxic. It's at a high point for us because we're in this generation, this time, and I'm sure it's going to get even worse. But does that mean we need to stop having kids? I don't think so, but in his mindset, he's thinking, that's the reason why. And I've heard many people kind of say, they want to bring kids into a world that has issues, but he also makes a good point saying he doesn't want to bring a kid into the world when he and his wife are not settled yet in Indonesia. They don't know how well they'll be able to make money, and they don't know what kind of life they're going to be able to bring this child. So to me, he started to make sense at that point. He's saying, once we get our feet off the ground and we can figure out what we're doing and how much money we can make, then I'll have more time to really think about this. But right now, I'm kind of like really focused on us getting our lives together. Then we can go back to the kids' issue. So she feels better about the situation, and at least he's leaving it kind of open for, okay, we could still possibly do this. And he's not totally just backing out of not having kids. But I mean, that's kind of the risk we run when we get married. Not that I'm married, but I'm just saying it's a risk that you run. Your person can change on you, but you're doing till death do us part. Your person can have life issues and change. Your person can have an accident and change. You could come in with one agreement, and then through the process of life, things change, things are altered, emotions change, and you kind of have to change up with that, even if it's not your ideas, even if it's not what you want. Definitely a compromise should be made if both parties are trying to work together and trying to be on each other's side. Then I think that it could still work out. So hopefully that's what happens. All right, Sean and Joanne, they've been married for 2 years and their kids don't know it. She visits Ireland to see him. He lives with his mom, so it's like too small for everybody to stay there. So they rented a nice house for the family to all get together. And they stayed in separate rooms because, again, the kids don't know that they're married. They've been married for a couple of years, and they still have to break the news to them. So they wake up to a Irish breakfast. What is it? Sausage, pudding. I think he said pudding means bacon, soda bread, fried bread, and orange juice. And, that's just, I guess she said that's their typical Irish breakfast. Sean, I believe he goes and plays soccer with his oldest son, and they kind of have a moment. The son is really good at soccer, just as the mom told him. And they kind of have like a fun bonding moment. And he also says, that he'd like to get to know them better. They could come visit more often, and kind of letting the older son know that he cares about the mom. So he really wants to, he's itching to tell him, he feels like, they need to like blow their cover here and be honest with the kids at this point, but they have to find the exact right time to tell them. So hopefully that's coming, and hopefully that's on the way. But he's bonding with the boys right now, and it looks like it could be a good thing. So hopefully everything works out. But are they okay with her moving to Ireland and going back and forth is really the question, the main question. And she's going to leave it in the kids' hands and say, hey, if they want to do it, if they feel like it's okay, then. But if they don't feel like it's okay, then that's what's going to be my deciding factor. I think you kind of have to meet somewhere in the middle, because now you've married a person and you've put them in your life. So you can't just go with what your kids want, even though they're a very important element to your life. You're now married. You have to also assess that as well. So I guess she's going to figure out what she's going to do after she tells the kids and see, really what their reaction is. So we're waiting for that part of the story to unfold. Okay, so it looks like we're done, guys. We are done talking when it comes to 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way. These were the couples that they showed us in this recent episode. So we wish them all the best as they try to navigate love, as they try to navigate their relationships, and hoping that everything works out. Again, this show promotes love and promotes marriage. So we're all for that as we talk faith, love, and trends right here on CBiz Media. This is Irene. Let's talk again, guys. All the best and God bless.